There we go. We are live, everyone. We are live. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to Millennial Monday. We are always excited about Millennial Monday, where House in the Car brings on our millennial for the week to talk about the barriers preventing them from home ownership. House in the Car, check us out, houseinthecar.com on our website, on Facebook, on Instagram, actually, as a matter of fact, on all of the social media platforms. House in the Car has a strategic focus on the millennials and moving the millennials into home ownership. My name is Letitia Grant. I am the chair of the national chair of House in the Car, and I am joined today with my co-host, Miss the fabulous Miss Latanya Donaldson with Prime Lending. Latanya.
How's everyone doing today? Happy Monday. Letitia, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure hosting with you. I'm Latanya Donaldson. I'm Vice President, Director of Multicultural Lending for Prime Lending. So we are so excited to be a sponsor, and I'm always excited to share the screen with Miss Letitia.
Hey, and our millennial for Millennial Monday on this Monday is none other than my good friend, Miss Kiana McShawn. Miss Kiana, would you like to introduce yourself to us today?
Hello, world. Thank you for having me. My name is Kiana McShawn Hornsberry, and I am honored to be live. Very nervous.
No, don't be. I was telling her she's such an amazing speaker, so well educated, and I don't know why she's nervous. I love talking to her.
It's a natural. I can already tell.
Exactly. So, Kiana, tell us, how old are you? Where are you from?
Okay, I am 39 years young.
Yes.
I actually had to recapture myself and say, how old am I on yesterday? I was like, really? But I'm 39 years old, and I am from Houston, Texas, on the north side.
And what do you do for a living?
I am student information representative for Houston Independent School District. In an elementary school, I will not display the school because I like to keep security safety for myself. I've been working with Houston Independent School District for about, I want to say 8 or 10 years now. Yeah, because I
And
started.
it's okay. It's okay to say how many years you've already told your age.
Yeah.
Well, now
I climbed the ladder in the district because I started off like really working just 2 hours with HISD. I was like persevering, seriously,
yeah.
because I never forget, it was a summer. My friends were going out of town for vacation. I was stuck here working in the medical center, and I was like, oh no, I need to get an education. And so I could have my summers off, and I got on. So thanks be to God.
Awesome.
Good deal. Well, we're going to jump right on into it, Latanya.
Yeah, so I guess my first question for you, Kiana, the obvious question, what are some of the barriers that you're experiencing that's keeping you from home ownership?
Ooh. Pretty much, I don't want to say my kids are a barrier. However, I have made them like really first priority. And being a single mom, I hate that single parent quote unquote status, but literally I am a single mother, and I've raised my 19-year-old now. He's in the Navy now, and I end up, God bless me with my 3-year-old that I have now. So it's pretty much putting them first, not being well educated on actually owning a home because my parents weren't educated. So just didn't know the right guidance, the right path to actually take.
Right. Well, first of all, congratulations on being a single parent and getting your oldest into the Navy. I too am a single parent, so I certainly understand the sacrifices that we make as a single mom. Trust me, I get it.
Single parent.
Right. Right. Absolutely. But I think, when you talk about like some of the sacrifices, well, let me ask you, let's back up a little bit. So when you talk about sacrificing, what, give me an example of that.
Well, working multiple jobs
Mm-hmm.
just to, I hate to say, not let him feel the what he doesn't have, because Keon and I, we were head in head. We were like this, doing things.
Yeah.
And I used to work in a medical center, and I also worked at TSO, and then going to school too. I was enrolled in a university, and just being super involved
Right.
with Keon to make sure that he doesn't feel the gap of, oh, my mom's a single parent, or oh, we're poor, or
Right.
or I
Absolutely.
kept him very active. I mean, oh my God, this journey that we had, and we're still on a journey, and I thank God for it. My daughter is a little bit different from my son, because my son, I was very young still, super young. I was like, what, 19 going on 20, and I was learning it. And right now I'm pretty set in my path, a little bit more stable, to where
Right.
it's like I know what to expect. And I didn't know, and I didn't have that parental guidance to help me with raising a kid. So
Right, right, absolutely. Well, again, I applaud you because it certainly appears you have done a phenomenal job. And let me just tell you, okay, buzzkill, when you purchase a home for the first time, it's scary for everyone. Wouldn't you agree with that,
Yeah,
Letitia?
I definitely do. And it was something that she said that I kind of want to also go back to, when she said not having the information that she felt she needed in effort to be able to purchase a home. And I know that that is considered to be a really big barrier in our millennial population, being educated on the
Mhm.
home ownership process and what to expect next. And so they wrote a book of what to expect when expecting. Well, now it's what to
Right.
expect when there is home ownership. And that's one of the things I love about the connection with House in the Car, where what we try to do is ensure that we bring on people from around the country, all over. And what everyone needs to understand is your fears are someone else's fears. Your concerns are someone else's
Absolutely.
concerns. You're not the first person to
Mhm.
come on and say, well, I didn't know what to do because my
Right.
parents didn't do it, so they didn't have anything to tell me. But that's why you
Mhm.
surround yourself with those people
Mhm.
that can provide you with that knowledge and that information.
yeah, indeed.
So
Absolutely. So you're at the right place today.
yeah,
You.
You're at the right,
absolutely.
you know, and I was just having a conversation with someone earlier who has purchased a couple homes. And I thought it was very huge because one of the things he said was, I still don't know what I'm doing, and most
Yeah.
people feel that way. I'm in the business and I have purchased a couple of homes. And my last home is I was single, right? And it was a totally different experience than the first couple of times because I was married. So,
Mm-hmm.
so I certainly can relate to that fear, even being in the industry. I understand what you're saying. But the good news is the process has become so streamlined now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We used to joke about it and we would say we need a pint of blood from you. Now it
Yeah.
doesn't hurt as badly
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
everything is electronic, just like with
Yeah.
prime. The whole process basically online, and then, of course, your loan officer would be there to guide you, but there would be a time you would have to run around town to collect all your documents. Now, most of that is electronic.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, for an example, bank statements. We go straight to your bank now to
Yeah.
get those.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even ask you for that.
Oh, now that I didn't even know. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
we learn something new every day.
exactly. So see, that's what that tells you. It's about resources and connections. So
Right.
another thing that you made mention of, Kiana, is having resources and tools and financials.
Mm-hmm.
So what about if an online budget preparation?
Yes.
Being able to prepare your budget online, is that something that you feel would be helpful and beneficial to
It
you?
would be very beneficial to me. So
Gotcha.
I can visually see what's going where.
Right.
And yeah, because like just me, myself, like I don't shop, I don't spend a lot. And it's just like,
Yeah.
where's my money going?
Right. So back when I was coming up, and I tell this story about my grandfather. My grandfather would go to the mailbox, and Kiana, you remember my grandfather. He'd go to the mailbox, get the mail, come to the table, write the check, put a stamp on the envelope, go back to the mailbox, put the arm up on the mailbox so that they can come and pick up the mail and the bill. But now what has happened with all of this technology we have, the component that's missing is the registry. Mm-hmm. You no longer have to balance your checkbook. And it's something about writing it down after you've done it. Then you can go back and say, oh my goodness, I overspent at Walmart. Or you're looking at your register and you see Luby's one too many times. It was an instant check. But now everything is so electronic. So where is your money going? Well, you don't have a registry to reference and make a decision on where your money's going. That's gone these days.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So what we have to do is we have to pull that bank statement, and I know LaTanya and LaTanya promotes credit smart, financial literacy. I mean, there's not a time when I was president of Women's Council and we're doing something financial literacy that prominent, it was the first number that I dialed. Like, can you guys? And they were right there. But having that understanding, being credit smart, which credit and budget are hand in hand. You can't have one without having the other. So many people say, oh, my credit score is bad. Well, your budget's bad too. Because if you're not paying the bills, sometimes it's not just because now some people have personality flaws and you just decide, I'm just not paying these people. Like my son told me one time we were at a hotel, he's like, well, I ordered room service. And I said, well, baby, that food's not free. He said, well, they bring it to me. It must be free.
Right. Exactly. Right.
So unless there's just a gap, because there was a gap there for him, most people want and desire to pay their bills. It's just a matter of putting that budget in and putting pen to paper and making a decision on what to do. So for houses and a car, what we've also done is there is an online interactive budget where you can type in those things and at the end print out what your budget looks like. Now, you have to, in order for this to be effective, you have to be honest with yourself.
Right.
When I did Weight Watchers, I would eat a peppermint and say, oh, it's just a peppermint. It wouldn't write it down. Well, that counted against my points.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that exactly. That's a great analogy because I'm doing it right now with my fitness. I'm like, do I need to record that? And they make it so easy. You can even scan whatever it is, the packaging, and it goes right in there. It's like, yeah, but no. But to your point, the power.
I catch myself now, like, because my son and I, we share the same account. I'm joint with him. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, at this point, you should be stacking up your money. You have no rent. You have no car note. You should, like, all this other stuff constantly going to Sam's or whatever. That's unnecessary. So when he gets paid, I'm like taking it and putting it in the savings. And so he was like, well, Mom, I said, well, you have to live off that 150.
Yeah.
Because next time you get paid, because I'm not moving it from your savings.
So, I think that's a wonderful idea for you and your son to sit down and do a budget together, and
I didn't have that.
Letitia, because, you mentioned something very interesting earlier. And you're so correct. See, this is generational, right? And, I remember like with my parents, now my dad, he was very astute when it came to finances, especially credit, from that generation, they felt like all they had was their credit. That was it, their name and their credit. So he was very, very good with his credit. Okay. I'll never forget one time I was in college and I went out and got a Discover card. So the bill came. Back then they would just open your mail. So he opened it up and he said, "Baby, what did you discover?" What in the world did you go and discover? But I think it's very important, particularly with minorities, that we start out early. And trying to teach our kids, because it is generational, right? And it starts when we're young. So just as my father, he was good from a standpoint, he didn't overspend, but also he never really sat down and showed me what a budget looked like.
Yeah.
I would just see, Letitia, you mentioned your grandfather, and you would see them, they had their register and they were paying bills, but no one really, and that's even what's missing now in schools, right?
Yeah.
I think like with my kids, my daughter, she was doing, which I was so glad to hear this. They were doing an exercise where they had, okay, here's, just like you were saying with your son, okay, you have $200 and you have this to pay, this to pay, this to pay. I think that is imperative when we start to, talk to our younger people, or people that are before us, and because it wasn't done really, and especially within minority sectors. It just wasn't, unfortunately.
You can only give what you have.
Yep.
That's
if
right.
You don't have it to give, you can't give it.
That's right. Exactly.
It's my Aunt Julia, and I really look up to her on my dad's side. She always says, you don't know better because you haven't been shown better.
Then Correct.
And
we
then
do better because we don't know better.
Yep. And then it's like, I know that the Cosby Show had one episode of Bill Cosby when Theo was saying, "Oh, I'm gonna get me this car, I'm gonna move," or whatever he was doing, and he was like, "Okay," having the monopoly money, and he was like, "So this is how much you get paid. You got to pay rent. You have to pay this," and then it left Theo with like $200. And he was like, he was like, "Are you going to take the young lady out to eat?" And he was like, "Yeah." And so Bill like, well, that's gone too.
Yeah. It's amazing that you are teaching Keon, even if it's forced right now, because that force will turn into habit. And so once it turns into habit for him, he'll be able to pass that on to the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. So what we have to do is we have to gain acquired traits and acquired habits. These are things that we're not accustomed to. However, in order for the next generation and the generation behind us, I tell every time I'm talking about House in the Car and the millennials, that Gen Z is something special. That group is a very interesting group, but what they have are things that the millennial and the late year Gen Xers may not have gotten from their parents. Now they have a whole package of things bundled up and given to them, which is amazing. I just love it. So Kiana, if you had to name any other barriers, what would you say is preventing you from home ownership?
My circle.
Okay.
My circle, like, not because I don't have a big circle. I'm very very isolated. Just being now, like, this is a big leap for me. Live. You know, I was trying to text you to get out of it.
Yeah. I was like, no.
Be in my circle to push me, because I know I want it, and I don't just want it for myself. Like, what I want is not just for me, it's for Keon, it's for Skylar. Legacy, leaving a legacy.
Right.
You know.
So I'm like, all of these points, it's amazing because we hear this same over and over and over again. So Monday, of course, Monday is Millennial Monday, where we get to talk about the barriers. Tuesday is solution driven. And then Wednesday is testimonial. So we will definitely have you on a Wednesday with the testimony,
That's
right?
right. That is coming.
So that's
Absolutely.
right. So during this barrier time, it gives Housed in the Car an opportunity, because what we're doing, even with this is research. This is data for us. We're putting this data together and we're coming up with these solutions that will help benefit our millennial group, that 1.7 million millennials that's actually able to purchase a home right now, but have decided not to purchase a home. That is a very, very large number. So with putting together and crafting these solutions based off of what we're hearing, and ironically enough, we're hearing the same 3 barriers.
Right.
Social. Our social group looks different. And especially in our community, you're shunned if you look to do something different than what the status quo of the community is. Like, do you think that you're better than I am because now you want to, you know, it's all of that. But now we've created, and this is, I'm so excited about it. We have now created a group of people that share similar ideas, that have similar desires, and now your new social circle looks just like you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well said, Letitia.
Yes.
So I don't know, does anybody have anything else to add? I mean, this has been a great interview. I'm so happy that you agreed.
I can't stop smiling.
Question: where do we start the process?
Oh, there you go.
Let's do it. No, absolutely. You know, how does that saying go? It's nothing to it but to do it. And I just, you know, you said earlier, the position you're in right now. I mean, you have your son in the Navy, you have a 3-year-old. And I love when you talked about legacy, because Kiana, it is all about legacy. Yep. And I already see you appear to have a beautiful spirit, and I see you and your beautiful baby daughter walking into your new home.
Amen. I receive that, because that's something I envisioned, sitting in the backyard with a garden. You know, that's what I've just been hollering about. I really
create your vision board. I believe in that. Create your vision board, and we are here to help you facilitate that vision. You have, as Letitia said, you already have the right people surrounding you. Yeah. And then, you know, there is power in writing things down. See, me, sometimes I still go old school and I take out my list. There you go. Bingo. A diary. You know, keep it there. Hold on. Oh, listen, mine is propping my little deal up. Here you go. Yeah. There is power to documenting things. Yeah. You know, where do you see yourself in 6 months? Because I know for me, once I set a goal, the amazing thing starts to happen. I start to just gravitate to it. Yeah. You know, it's like my actions become aligned to what I've already put out there in the universe. And I'm a huge believer that absolutely, because we know how it goes. Whatever you sow, you reap. A lot of times that's used in a negative connotation, but it's not. It can be very positive. So we're giving you some seeds to go plant today.
And I wrote some. I was here taking like some notes, like, yeah, definitely. I am, again, very honored for Tisha to even think of me, because I would never forget the home that's over a little bit past Pearland, when Skylar and I both came. You had an open house. And I was just like, oh yeah. And we were just speaking, and I said, oh, maybe I should try to do real estate as well. And he was like, well, what's holding you back? And I'm like, oh, I'm not ready yet. I'm just not ready yet.
I tell you, you're in good company, because Letitia is extremely driven.
Yeah, she is. She has
the heart for it. So
she actually has been on this journey with me since I was pregnant.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
So we Well, look, we're gonna claim this testimony on Wednesday.
That's
Homeownership changed my life, and we're gonna be able to talk about how it's changed and shaped your life. I'm just excited. This platform has probably been one of the most amazing platforms I've had the opportunity to sit on, and not to mention chair. We are looking to transform the lives of many, and I know through your testimony, you're going to definitely appeal to someone similar situation, someone that's looking to do the same thing that you are. And this interview is going to empower them. It's going to propel them to take that step. And we'll all be looking back, remembering this day. So, yeah. So
that's ultimately, that's what's planted inside. I love to help. I know us women are already like nurturers, but literally, I think God really crafted me to be submissive. I'm very, I love to like help others. And I'd be like, I'm not even well put together. So I just love to give back. And I just can envision that my home won't even just be for my daughter and I. It'll be to do some lessons, like not just saying women that are single mothers, but parenting classes. That's just for everyone, because I took parenting class with Keon, and I know my boundaries with him, and I would say that's my best friend, and we can communicate. We converse very well, and Lord is going to challenge me now with Skylar.
but you know what? You've been able to find that balance between friendship and mothering, which is extraordinary, and it's not common. So that indeed is a blessing. And I don't know who out there in the Facebook world needed to hear that, but you sharing that actually landed in someone's lap. So that's another thing to be excited about.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, guys, we have concluded our show. I would like to thank, first of all, I definitely want to thank not only our sponsor, but our friend. You know, it's great to have the sponsorship, but it's something well above that to have the friendship. So thank you so much for LaTanya for co-chairing this with me yet again. Our synergy is just everything to me.
Oh, absolutely. It's just authentic. No,
exactly. Two little old natural hair girls.
I know.
So I had to do some braids.
Yeah, well, that's
but you're wearing it.
But and also thank you so very much, Kiana, for joining Millennial Monday, housed in the car under the NAREB, the NAREB 8, producing 2 million in African American homeowners in the next 5 years. Again, thank you all. Check us out, housedinthecar.com, on all social media outlets, Housed in the Car. LaTanya, let you close us out.
And please check us out on, we're also located on Facebook, Prime Lending. You can go to my page, Multicultural Lending, and we would love to be able to help you. We have tons of products. We have access to different down payment assistance programs. See, Kiana, we're waiting on you. We've streamlined the process. We refer to our loan originators or loan officers as the modern originators. So we're here to serve you, and we look forward to doing that. Please give us an opportunity.
I will.
And they have access to everything. By the way, audience. Oh, she's in.
You're good so far.
Yeah. Bye, Skylar.
Say hi. Say hello.
Skylar, you are so beautiful. You're beautiful like your mom.
Thank you. You must be sleepy. Sleep probably has set in.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys again. You all have a great. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.